Alright, me back again with my half-closed eyes situation here because of the camera's position and stuff. It just looks like I'm half asleep. If the camera were up higher, my eyes wouldn't look like they're half shut. So I'm coming at you again. I apologize. I'm really just like my energy level is just I'm fairly kind of just, I don't know what you'd call it, just in a depressive mood right now. And so I'm going to try to do this video. I don't even remember what the hell. When I pressed record, I had a specific, and now I don't know. Oh yeah, something to the effect of I'm sick of ending up on square one. I always end up on square one. I always end up back on square one. And some of you may know if you watched some of my other videos that when I was 19, just a month away from being 20, an older woman crossed the center line and drove head-on into me as I was driving by myself and got in a near-fatal car wreck, and I ended up getting a settlement, of money, a money settlement from that back when I was 20 or whatever. So, when you could earn a little bit of interest or more back then. Long story short, I didn't have to necessarily work or work a lot in my early to mid 20s. So when, a lot of the majority of, unfortunately, poor souls, and I feel so bad, feel so bad for them, especially in these times, if you're I can't imagine being in your early 20s during these times, where people are working 3 jobs. I can't even, I don't know how the hell they do it. I couldn't even do 35 hours a week just a couple months ago at this job that I had to quit. But a lot of it was probably the job. But anyway, I actually have worked, with the longest stretch I've pretty much worked nonstop was the last 10 years. Because I didn't, like I said, because of the money I was able to, and during the times when you could actually earn something, an interest, and living at home with my dad when I was in my 20s, I basically didn't have to work. Or not that, and then it got to a point where I worked, very little, which, yeah. So long story short, I've only really worked a lot, which isn't even a lot. It's still kind of part-time for the last 10 years. And having this year go bad, this work year go bad when my job of basically 3 years got compromised when they got a new manager who was just an asshole, and I quit, in mid-June and stuff. That was the whole reason. I was at such a low point, that was the whole reason to start this channel, which I'd been meaning to do for months before. I just needed that push, which that horrible day was. So basically this whole video is just about, just the fact, the pattern that I've sensed over the last 10 years, which is, I always end up back at square one regarding not only just jobs, but relationships, So in the last 10 years, I've had 2 relationships. The second one really wasn't even, with women. The second one wasn't really even a relationship. It was just come over and screw you, and leave or whatever. So 2 relationships and, 4 jobs or something in the last 10 years. And I look back at the last 10 years, which I've been doing a lot, since I quit in this year and trying to get jobs and everything and like that. And it's just you know, I guess I'm just sick of ending up back at the same spot over and over, in relationship, or I mean, in relation to relationships and jobs. You know, both of the women that I was intimate with, you know, severed the situation on their end. I mean, I didn't end it. Both of the women I was with ended it themselves. So, which also makes me all the more, pessimistic when it comes to any future relationships with women, because even if I were to meet someone, I'd wonder, I mean, I just assume that she's, this is going to go on until she wants to end it, because of my last two experiences, because of my only two experiences with women, the way that ended. And I guess the whole point of this video is I'm kind of just sick of ending up back at square one, it's to the point where you really get sick of wanting to continue to try, because let's face it, even if I did land a job, which I've done 3 or 4 times within the last decade, that I can stand or somewhat maybe even like, it's not going to last. And I think I've said this before in videos. Even if you find a job, it'll last for a while, a number of months or a number of years, and then something will happen. The store will close, as happened with one of my previous jobs, or they'll get new management. Something will change to make the job, which was formerly, doable or put up withable, and to make it, from doable to miserable. Either that or just the store will close. And then you're back at square one, looking for another job. That's where I am right now. Although I'm not what I'd call like super actively looking like I was this summer, because, I need a break. I'm just sick of actively looking. I actually did have, in that 2 week hiatus where I wasn't uploading videos, I did actually have 2 interviews for jobs that would have only been like 2.5 weeks long, just seasonal for the rest of December. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but, so I had 2 job interviews, in the last couple of weeks, and you get so disillusioned even when I go on the interviews. The person's like, "So, have you had sales goals at any of your former jobs?" It's like, "We have sales goals here," and it's just like, sales goals for a 2.5 week job. Like, what are you gonna do if I don't meet the sales goals? Fire me in 1.5 week, like a week early? I mean, I wish, this is a whole nother topic, but I wish fucking companies could just be content with the business, they just get automatically, instead of this, trying to talk people into buying more, upselling, as it were, which is a word that I really didn't hear until this year when I started applying for and working at other jobs. It's like upselling. I mean, I've heard of suggest selling, but I don't think I really heard the term upselling, which means if they're buying a fucking TV, suggest everything that goes with it: TV stand, HDMI cable, wall socket, a house that connects to the wall socket, land that the house goes on, a planet that the land goes on, a universe that the planet goes on. It's just like, you want to buy everything? You get a discount the more you buy, fucker. So I don't, what's this? Oh yeah, always ending up back at square one or whatever, something like that. So in closing, I apologize, guys. I mean, these last 4 or so videos are just kind of, I don't know. I mean, indicative of, my mood, I guess. So to those of you looking for, like, positive, uplifting videos. I'm sorry I can't deliver that right now. This is how I feel right now. So, I'm currently back on square one, and maybe not every, but when it comes to jobs and relationships, I'm back there now. And I gotta tell you, at this stage of the game, I mean, the motivation to even get my ass, to even want to look, continue to look for work is, I try to say to myself, it's just, you just keep looking until you find a niche. And then the realist, part of my brain, which is basically all of it, says, great, you find a niche, and then it's just a matter of time before that niche is fucked up. The idealistic side of my mind, which is very, the minority of it, is like, just keep looking until you find, it's just a matter of time until you find a niche, a job niche. And then it's like, realist side goes, yeah, well, the niche will only last so long. And then it's just like, that reality, cold hard reality of that, it just crushes the optimistic side. No! And the optimistic side just drowns in the puddle of realism, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. This is actually, I've worked the last 10 winters, more or less the last 10 years. I mean, there were periods within the last 10 years that I was in between jobs, that I wasn't employed. But this is the first winter in 10 years that I'm not working. And I don't really like it, in this, in a part of the world where the winter is cold and snowy and freezing and shitty. I would rather be working. Maybe not 35 hours a week, unless it's a job that I can stand. I'm not pleased. Obviously, it's not my choice to not be working. I mean, I guess it is because I keep quitting these jobs, but that's because I'd rather not work than be miserable like that. So, oh shit, I gotta end. So anyway, again, I apologize, these last couple videos, 3-4 videos, are not particularly maybe enjoyable, but again, this is like my only, source of whatever. This is my outlet to vent and stuff, so I appreciate you guys watching and subscribing and commenting. And, oh man. I'm just, long story short, I'm kind of just sick of it. I'm disillusioned with life, I'm sick of ending up back on square one, which is where I always end up, something occurred to me lately within the last several weeks, which is, for me, I mean, it seems like bad things just happen to you. But in my experience. But if you want something good in your life, you have to work for it. But you don't have to work for bad shit. That'll just happen automatically. But the good stuff, you have to put in some effort for. I think that really sucks. That's just my experience. So there. Thank you very much for watching. And here I'm squinty face here, squinty eyes. Reporting from this freezing cold part of the world, and we'll see you next time, huh? Okay, I guess that was like a spider in front of the lens. Wow. Bye.